Welcome into the Q&A show. My name is Bob Theriot, and I'm really happy that you found a little bit of time to spend with me and my guest tonight. We are going to be talking a lot about digital marketing and websites. So if you have or know of a business owner, you may want to let them know and share this out, like and share this stream, because we are going to be talking a lot about websites, and I want you to get a lot of value from what we're going to be doing. So my next guest is someone that I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago. We became friends. She's out of the Washington, D.C. area, Northern Virginia area. She actually owns a digital marketing agency herself. So you guys, I want you to bring it and ask her as many questions as you can. And let me introduce you to my friend, Hadeel Ghaida, everyone. Hi, Hadeel. How are you?
Hey, everyone. How are you? Hey, Bob. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure. How's it going over in the Washington, D.C. area? How's the weather over there?
Yeah, D.C.'s been doing good with us, actually. The weather's been really, really nice, so I've been very happy about that.
Yeah, well, I was there, in July? It was perfect weather.
Yes, you came at a good time. Sometimes D.C. gets confusing, and sometimes you have rain, sometimes you have sun. You never know, but so far it's been good.
Yeah, well, that's good. So tell me, how's business? What are you guys doing? I know you own a Unfazed Media, right? Unfazed Media. It's a digital marketing company. You guys focus really on websites, correct?
Yeah, so we're a digital marketing agency here in the DMV area, and our main focus is websites, but we also target social media advertising and SEO, but definitely websites is like the number one for our business.
Yeah, and so how did you get into this space, this digital marketing space?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Actually, it's actually funny how we got started. So initially, we were a e-commerce website. When we first started, so I'm sure most of you, I don't know if you don't know, I'll explain a little bit about this company. It's called Groupon. Mm-hmm. You've heard of Groupon, right, Bob?
Yeah. They were huge at one time. You don't hear too much about them right now.
Yeah, not too much now. So like 4 years ago, actually, when I first started my company, it was with my brother and I, my father, and it was a e-commerce business. It was called Delia. The whole point behind Delia was to compete against Groupon. It was like, I remember the day we decided we wanted to do this company, actually. It was this website. We were like, you know what? We're tired of always having to spend so much money. I wish there was a website out there that had coupons and deals. And that's when my dad brought up the idea. And I told him, hey, there's Groupon out there, actually. And this was when Groupon was really trying to get their foot in the door 4 years ago. They were running there, I think, 2 years. And then that year is when they kind of started growing more and more. We realized that a lot of business owners were on Groupon, but they hated Groupon. And the reason why they hated Groupon is because Groupon was really good at getting them customers in the door, but what they were really bad about doing is actually giving them a profit in return. So I would say, like, Groupon would make them cut down their services 50%, and then on top of that, they would also take 50% of their profits whenever a customer bought a coupon from them. So they were really making about 25% and losing actually money from them. The only gain they were getting is really customers in the door. Right. And these customers really just wanted a deal, so they weren't really loyal to them. Mm-hmm. So when we saw this flaw in their business model, we ended up designing Delia, which ended up fixing that, and it was more of a profit margin. Like, they would get 80% profits, we would get 20%. And we were so young. I was like 18 at the time, starting college, and it was like a whole different world. I was starting my own business. I was trying to compete against this huge company. And to make a long story short, through the process of developing that site, we went through really bad web developers. We actually lost $50K in the process. Wow. But when we found really great ones, they ended up fixing the website for us and the app. And what ended up happening, they hated the website the company they were working for. They were a web development company, and they hated the company they were working for. So the developers on our project was actually really, really interested in what we were doing and wanted to kind of work with us in some way. At the time, Delia was failing because Groupon was failing. People didn't want anything to do with Groupon or anything that smelled or even looked like it, even if it was a better model. That was a hard lesson to learn, especially when you put like 50K into something. You're just like, what? After learning that huge lesson, we ended up taking up the offer from those developers. They were phenomenal at what they did. And we were like, you know what, let's just create a web development company. So initially, actually, our marketing agency was a web development company. We started doing more mobile apps, websites, software for businesses. We started growing. And within the 2 years, my brother and I were like, you know what, we love websites. We love doing all this work for our clients, but we realized what our bread and butter and the true, what we truly loved was marketing. And so we incorporated that into the business. And that's kind of how we became a digital marketing agency.
That's awesome. So what is it you love about digital marketing? I mean, you were attracted to it, right? But what is it that really attracts you to it?
That's a good question. What really got me to love marketing? A was to bring my creative side, but also to create something out of nothing, if that makes any sense. Usually when you have a business, it's hard. It's hard for people to know about it. It's hard to get people in the door. So it was almost like a challenge. I've always loved challenges, and with doing marketing, it was a challenge. Everybody has a different message. Everybody has a different way of servicing their clientele, and being able to actually go in there and seeing what that is and create something really awesome and putting it online to get more people in the door was really cool. So I really enjoyed my creative side, so that allowed me to bring in creativity, but it also let me bring in problem solving with it together. So that was really awesome that's why I love what I do.
And so you're meeting with business owners every week, I'm assuming, because you've got to meet with them. You got to talk to them to find out where they're struggling. And so in your opinion, where do you see a lot of local business struggle? And I know we're going to talk about websites, but I know this is part of it.
Right. That's a good question. A lot of businesses, it's two things really. One, if I want to get into depth about businesses and how they work, is really their systems. I think a lot of business owners struggle the most with their systems and having certain things in place so it can get done for them versus them doing it for their business. So they're working too much inside their business versus outside of it and trying to grow it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the main things, because naturally I don't like to really call myself as a salesperson or anything. I really call myself as a consultant almost, right? I go in and I look at them and I hear their problems consistently, and it's always the same thing over and over again. It's like, man, I just don't have time to do this. I just don't have anyone who can do this. I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm doing everything. So it's really the systems. But then where marketing comes in, because everyone thinks that, and it's the truth, marketing does do people justice. It does bring in the customers, but marketing is also something that you're supposed to be adding on, right? When you have a good system in place.
Right.
So I think the biggest struggle is people finding to have a good system, and then on top of that, being able to allow marketing to do its job without having to struggle through the process of when they get all these customers, they don't know how to handle them.
Yeah, and what I see, people really underestimate what it takes, right, to keep their business going. They may have a really great grand opening or something like that, but then they just under budgeted their marketing, and they don't realize that it takes a lot more than just a big splash initially. And that could be anything. That could be for an author. That could be for a coach. That could be for a brick and mortar business or an e-commerce business, right? It's all the same.
100%. They're not prepared or ready for how much they're bringing in, or they're not even ready to continue the process, right? They're just kind of like, this is my business. But then once it's getting tested, that's where the problems start arising, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about websites for a little bit. Where do you see people make mistakes with their website, and where do you see them doing okay with websites right now? Because I really see that with social media and with all of these platforms, people, it seems to me, aren't really paying attention to their websites as much as they should be. Do you see that?
100%. 100%. Well, it makes sense too. We're in this age where it's almost like the internet's taking over. So the past generations, the old ways and the ways they usually do things isn't the same as it is now, right? We have an opportunity, and no matter how much people trash talk online marketing, and I get it, because it is a different world, it's a different animal to take on. It's definitely a great way to get clientele without actually having to waste your time, if that makes any sense, right? It's another path to get in more leads without having to physically go to a networking event or go somewhere to get in front of these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
it gives you a larger reach too. You know, the audience is way larger, especially if you're in the online world and that's where your clients are. You can reach people from Australia or from like Israel or Lebanon. It doesn't matter. Like, you have a larger reach, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think where people really do underestimate their websites, to get back to your question, they really do underestimate their websites. And the biggest I think mistake most people make is they don't create their website where it's almost value driven, you know, value given almost, right? Versus it's more so it's like, hey, this is me, this is what I do. Check me out, check how cool I am. Like, this is my great picture that I was at this conference, versus you saying, hey, this is what the kind of results I can bring to your business. This is how much time I can save you. I think the biggest mistake people do is they forget what their clients are and what their needs and wants are, and they forget to put that on their website.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think, I don't know, I think to me it's like, it's very simple, really. Sorry, allergies, but it's really simple. It's really simple, really. I mean, it's if you want to get more clients, you have to figure out what they want, right? What it's going to get them to actually say, okay, I like these people, I need them, to get them off the website and call you, right? That's the whole point. The website isn't for them to just stay there for hours and hours of the day. No, it's really just to get them in the door and call you and pick up that phone.
Right. So what they're missing is a call to action, right? You're talking about how they have all these beautiful photos and they talk about how they're the greatest business in the world, but they don't really say, hey, this is how we can help you.
Exactly, right. 110%.
So as a business owner, you need to have a lead magnet, correct? Talk about lead magnets for a little while, what that means for people that aren't really familiar with our lingo here.
Yeah. So lead magnets. So it's something that basically, it's like a best way to put it. You see a campaign, right? Or you see an ad. It's something to get them to want to click onto that page. For example, a lead magnet would be like five ways to improve your social media platform, right? 5 ways to improve your business page on Facebook, right? It's something that's it's basically a physical thing that they can either, well, it isn't physical, but it's online, right? So something they can go on and click on it and learn more about that one topic you're talking about, right? It's something, it's giving them value, right? In exchange for their information, right? For their want to actually go and use your services. So you're giving them something. It doesn't matter. It could be a video. It could be an article. It could be anything like that.
So you need to give something to every visitor that comes on, whether, like you said, whether it be a digital product, you need to answer a question, a burning question that your visitor may have. So, So when you develop that website, whether you hire a Hadeel or Unfake Media or Success Rocket Marketing, you need to come to the table knowing that you're going to have to give something out to draw people into that website, right? Because now we're talking about traffic, and once you get them there, what do you do with them? Because there's a statistic that shows that 96% of everyone that visit your website will not call you or click anything on the website.
Right.
That's a huge. That's another topic of retargeting and what you can do to actually throw ads at people once they visit your website.
And you know what the funny part is? 80%, like. And most people forget this, like there's a lot of people online. You know, that's where you're going to find most of your audience. That's actually where people are locally too. Most people hang out online, right? So your website is probably going to be the first thing they're going to Google and want to see before they even step in front of your door. People are lazy, guys. They're super, super lazy. So if your website does not have anything that's valuable for them, they're not going to want to go and step into your store. They're just not going to. And a small little example would be, when you go on a website, normally you see a website's a company's logo really big, right? Or you see websites, SEO, social media. You see them list out their services right there in the front page, right? To a user, that means nothing. That literally means nothing to them, right? Because that's what every other marketing company is doing. That's what every other company is saying, right, or doing. What would really get them to want to say, oh, let me go into their website and see more what they do is, are you losing sleep by trying to get more leads online? I don't know. I'm giving you examples here. Are you wasting so much more money on direct mail, but not really getting the results you need? You're hitting them where their pain is. Like it's like almost like a stabbing pain inside them. It's because and these pains, by the way, you're putting on your website are tailored towards your targeted audience. So if you're looking to, let's say if you're a digital marketer and you're looking to get more restaurants in the door, you hit them with their pain points. Like For example, what's a big pain? Are you slow between the hours of 4 to 6? Because everybody knows every restaurant is slow between the hours of 4 to 6 p.m. It's the truth. I mean, I waitressed for many years, and that was always the down period. So if you hit them with that pain, every restaurant owner will relate to that. And then you caught them. Now they want to go and talk more. They want to go and read more about what you're saying, right?
Right.
So it's really hitting them with the pain in the beginning to get them to want to see more of what you really do and what results, right? What the emotions you're going to get them to feel after just being with you and using your services.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's just assume that someone here does not have a website. What do you think they should do? What's the first steps they should take before they go out and hire a web developer? Because there's a lot of things out there that you can do yourself. There's a lot of software. I would not recommend that. What's your take on that and the pros and cons of hiring a web developer and then you trying to do it yourself, especially let's say you're an insurance agent or if you're an author. I mean, are you really going to spend all that time developing a website that you're going to have to maintain? And then you have to figure out how to build it so where it gets organic traffic, right? And then we're not even talking about paid traffic. So what's your take on that?
So I'm going to address because I know there's two questions. So I'm going to say paid developers and then just write it down so I don't forget and research. So the first question you asked is if someone doesn't have a website, what should they do right now to basically to make sure they're going about creating a website in a good way? I think the number one thing is sit down and be honest yourself. Figure out what clients you're trying to attract, right, to your business. Who exactly are you trying to get as clients? That's the simple question you should ask yourself. Let's just say hypothetically it's restaurant owners, right? I'm just going to use this as an example since we used it anyway in the past. Right. So let's say the restaurant owners are your main target market. I want you to go out there, research exactly their pains. Find out what their problems are, what really hurts them, and what do they need more of to make them want to buy a service, right? So if you're a marketer out there and your goal is to get more restaurants under your belt and have them for your portfolio and case studies, go out there and start asking questions like, what are your pains? What can marketing do for you that will change the way your business is, or what will allow you to get more, what will help you get more revenue in the door, right? What is causing you or stopping you, right, from getting the increase of revenue you need year by year? Ask these questions. Figure out where their pains are, right? And then tailor that towards your services by saying, hey, the whole are you slow between the 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., during the days? Do you find that it's hard to attract people to your brunch specials every Sunday? I don't know what it be. Throw those questions at them. So when they're on your website, they see that, they feel it, right? So basically the best thing to do before you create any website, figure out their needs and wants, right? Figure out their pains, and then create content around that. So if it's a restaurant owner and most restaurant owners don't really know how to post on social media, create a video and say, hey, 5 ways to make your social media business, to make your Facebook business page poppin', right? And just create a YouTube video on that and post it on your website. Blog about it, or just talk about the difference between boosting. I know my brother did this. The difference between boosting versus Facebook ads, right? Create an article on that and put it on your website. Have a separate page on your website that's a media page. No one ever does that. This media page is literally like a page where you're listing, you're showing all the work you've done for your clients, all the places you've been at. Put a side of a blog, right? And then the other tab is going to be your blog, and that's strictly towards everything you're blogging or vlogging about, right? Vlogging is a video blog, right? Versus you writing it. Put all that in one section and separate. Make it super easy and simple for someone to A, find information on your website, and B, be able to figure out who you are and what you do. It needs to be clean.
Yes.
You lose people real quick, right? If you're throwing content everywhere and it's all this writing and words, you're going to lose them. But the best way to get someone is make it simple and sweet. I'm not talking about 2-page articles here or a 6-minute video. I'm talking about a 1-minute video, 2-minute video max. I'm talking about a short, maybe like, and it's like one-liners of an article, right? That's easy to read, and there's emojis, and it's friendly, and it's entertaining. I'm talking about this type of content.
Right.
So this is the stuff that you need to be ready for when you're creating a website, because these are the things that people are looking for. They're not looking about your services. They're looking about what you can do for them. Just remember that. Right. You said a second thing about either paying a developer or doing it on your own.
Yes.
So because I'm a website company, obviously I want to say paid developers. It matters about your industry. So if you're specific, the reason why I say it's better to start by paying someone to do your website versus you just doing it on your own. Obviously, if you're a startup and you don't have the money to do it, then yeah, go the cheap route by using Squarespace or Wix.com just to get something up there, and then maybe have like a creative Facebook group, right? And put all your content on there, and then have all your potential leads in that group. That's a way to get around it. But if you do have the funds, I do recommend start out by getting someone to do your website, 100%, because it's going to save you a lot more time in the long run. Because when you waste time creating your own website, that's a lot of time you could have spent by getting more clients, right? Yeah, I'm a huge believer. Don't waste your time versus money. Like if you could waste your money and then save your time, because your time is more valuable. You can't get that back. So have someone else who's more of an expert. Find someone who can do the website you trust and you like, and start from scratch. It doesn't have to be. I mean, most industries, unless you're an e-commerce business and it's like complicated and you're selling products online, that's a different story. But if you're just like a simple website where you just have a forward tab, like a home, about us, blog, a media page, then it's different, right? I would highly recommend just creating a simple website like that. Make it super simple. They can click on the articles, they can read it on your website, and it's good to go. I think I always recommend start off on a strong foundation versus just half-assing it. Sorry, excuse my French, but that's the truth.
It's the truth.
But yeah, so, and then also, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I think mobile sites are huge.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to bring that up because here in my city, when I research businesses and I go to their website, you can see right away that their websites aren't mobile optimized. Okay. And so what this means, guys, is that there's a lot of outdated and old websites out there. So where's everybody looking for you or looking for your business? They're using their cell phone, right? So if your website is not mobile optimized, they have to move the screen around, right, Hadeel? It's a weird. It doesn't come up the way, it's not formatted correctly to fit. So you need to make sure that when you build a website that you mobile optimize it. And mostly everybody's doing it. These are for people that have older websites.
Right, 100%. I know, and I even saw a statistic this today because I was looking at it for this podcast. Actually, did you know that 80% of people are actually using a smartphone, or they actually use their smartphone as the main device to actually go on, right? 80% of people have a smartphone, first of all, right? And then you have about, like, what? I want to say, I wrote it down here. It's like, this was it. It was 88% of consumers, 80% of consumers who search for a type of local business on a mobile device call or go to that business within 24 hours. Right. So that's 80% of people. That's huge, right? So that means that it's so important to have your website mobilized, because as soon as they go on your website and they notice that this is like weird, I can't even click on the call to action. I can't even I don't even know where the About Us is. I don't even know, where the contact information is. You lost them already. They don't even care about you because people are lazy. They're not going to go on the desktop, right?
No, and you don't have about 3 to 5 seconds before you lose them.
Exactly.
You can 10 seconds on a website. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. It's so that's pretty good, right? And and I want to, you need to be ready for all of this. It's unfortunately we're in a world now where people lose their attention span so quickly that if you're not on it and it doesn't look good and it doesn't look clean, you lost them already. And it's so important. I've seen so many mobile websites where it's just like words after words after words, paragraphs after paragraphs. I'm like, oh my God, you already lost me.
Yeah, it's a brochure website at that point, right? And people, they want to be entertained, right? And I looked up a statistic too. In the United States alone, there's 876.8 million websites. Okay, so wow. Think about that. So if you're starting a business or you're revamping your website has to be different. It's got to be different than everybody else's. You have to set yourself apart.
You have to. And the best way to do it is being as user friendly as possible. That's huge. What does that mean? Like you said before, call to actions. You know, about us. Make sure it's right there. Make sure, want to learn more how to save more money, like whatever. Call to action. Learn more here, right? You know, click here to do this. Like, it's very simple. It's right in front of them. It's clean. It's not difficult to find anything they need to find, and it's straight to the point. That's the thing. People want straight to the point.
Right. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is like emails, right? Because that's another thing people completely forget to do, and then retarget. So once you're lucky enough to get traffic to your website, you've got to capture that by either dropping a pixel in the browser or having them opt in. Okay. And I'm getting a little technical, Hadeel. So break that down for me, for my audience, because I could babble on, do a lot of techno babble. So kind of break that down for them in your terms.
Right. So are you talking about getting a user, to go to opting in to then taking them to a different, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, opting in, and then also retargeting them once they've landed on your website by dropping a pixel in their browser, which are those little cookies, right? They call them cookies.
So what Bob is talking about is just like this little, like, I want to say like a code or like a pixel. It's the best way to describe it is a pixel, and it's on you embed it in your website. And basically what this does is it allows you to see where they're coming from, but also captures their information so you can retarget them. So if you're a digital marketer and you do a lot of retargeting through social media, through Facebook ads or whatnot, Instagram ads, it allows you to capture who those people are. So you already know who went on your website. Therefore, they were interested in what you do, right? So then you can take them and then retarget them with an ad. I think this is where you're getting at, right, Bob?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then from there, that's where you kind of get more information about those users, and you're able to capture them. If you, let's say I don't know, whether they went on the website, but then decided they're like, I don't know if I want anything from here, or I don't know if I need anything. You're still inside it in mind with them when you retarget them. That's important because it takes about, like, I think it was like 12 to 15 touches before someone makes a decision with going online. And it's like you have to constantly be following up with them. You have to constantly be retargeting them, right? And if they keep seeing you, they're more likely going to use you, right? They're more likely going to use your services or call you or come into your door. That's just the way people work. So you have to keep retargeting them. So this is why it's so important to embed a type of pixel on your website, so you know A, where they're coming from, and B, how to target them based off of where they're coming from, right? And then you can go from there and retarget them and continue to get them in the door.
So you guys were giving me this information so that you know that when you pick somebody out, you have a little bit of knowledge of what you're going to be asking for. You just don't want to have a website built. You got to think through the whole end game and what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be retargeting, how you're going to be getting in front of these people at least another 7 times before they decide to do business with you.
Exactly. And to help you, because I know there's a lot of information we threw at you, I think the best way to, maybe I can walk you through the steps is number one, research. Do your research, right? Figure out who your audience is so you understand their pains and their wants and their needs. 2, start creating content that you know that it's valuable to them and they're going to like it and they're going to actually learn from it and feel that they gained value, they enjoyed the experience on your website, right? And then 3, figure out aesthetically, make it pleasing. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's to the point. Make sure it's entertaining. Make sure that when they're on there, from the sentence they read to the next tab they go on, everything seems like it's a fun experience. It's like Disney World. The minute you step in, to the T, from the ground of the flowers to the roller coasters to the people and the balloons that are hanging around you, right? Everything is like a wow experience, right? So you have to make that experience on your website. And then 4, embed something like a pixel, right? Something so you can capture who your audience is and who's actually going on your website, right? And then, make sure your mobile, which is the biggest one, your mobile site is actually is all of that times 2, because that's where they're going to be the most, right? And then lastly, have a plan, how to retarget them, how to get them back on there, how to get them to actually click onto that call to action and buy now button, right? Whatever you're doing for your business, it could be. So these are the 5 or 6 main things you need to know and do for your website before getting started. So now your plan is ready and you're your website's going to be successful.
No, those are awesome tips. Awesome tips. So if you guys miss this, right, you can always go back and watch this in replay mode. And that reminds me, if you are at this point in the video and you watched it, please hashtag replay so that we know that you saw this. Okay, you guys? And please like and share this this stream. Don't be afraid to hit that like button. Don't be afraid to hit that share button. The more people that you guys do that for, if you do that for me, it'll reach more people and we're able to help more people. So
yes,
what do you have any big projects coming up, Hadeel? If somebody in my audience wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest project going on right now for our business is we're actually targeting more franchise owners. So we're going to more of the franchise industries, and we have some people in the pipeline that we're working. Can't really name their names, but that's kind of what we're big thing we're doing now. Where to find us? So 3 places. One, you can follow me on my Instagram at it's the _real Hadeel, and then also you could add me on Facebook, Hadeel Ghaida. I'm on Facebook, so feel free to add me and message me. Say you were on, you saw Bob's podcast and you have questions for me, or you just want to connect. More than happy to. Awesome. And also my brother, Mark Ghaida, who's my business partner, he has a YouTube channel that I think all of you should go on because on his YouTube channel, he talks about all of this stuff. He talks about tips and tricks and ways to market your business and also websites. And his user, I think, is gonna be Mark Ghaida. You'll find him on there on YouTube.
Yeah, and Mark actually did a module. He did a few modules in my real estate marketing academy online course, and he brought so much value to that course. It was awesome. Mark's a good guy. I got to meet Mark and Hadeel in a mastermind that we're in. It's 15 of the top marketers in the world we meet every quarter in person and then every month online. And we get to share ideas and bring them to the community. So I wanted to have Hadeel on here because she's awesome. She knows what she's talking about. So I really appreciate it, Hadeel. Thank you for coming on the Q&A show. It was such a pleasure. And like I said, you guys, please like and share this stream for me. I really appreciate it. Hadeel, I will see you in November.
Yes, you will.
In Florida at Disney World. But I appreciate you coming on here. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched tonight. And please, again, hashtag replay. And until my next show, you guys keep hitting it hard and keep pounding the pavement. And I'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.